What's up, everybody? Happy Saturday. Welcome to another episode of Comic Collector Origins. This is episode 12. It's been pretty cool so far. Met a lot of people, got to continue to know more people, and hopefully we could just keep this thing going. So I'm really excited about today. My guest today. If you're new to the show, if you've never seen this before, Comic Collector Origins is basically talking to the community. It's where I interview people from the community, both YouTube and Instagram, and we get to know a little bit of their origin story of how they got into collecting comics or reading comics or just generally the hobby itself. How did they get introduced to it? What was their first experience about it? So that's what this is about. If you guys are watching the replay, thank you so much for taking the time to watch the replay. Would always love feedback. Feel free to leave comments in the comment section below. And obviously, if you haven't already, please like and subscribe if you haven't done that. But I do want to bring in my guest. His name is Ian. He goes by Hood Rat Comics on Instagram. You guys might know him. His information is in the description below. If you don't follow him already, I highly recommend you do. He does some really cool stuff on both Instagram and YouTube. So let me bring in Ian here. And there he is. What's up, brother?
What's up, y'all? How you doing, man? How you doing, Jay?
I'm doing good, man. Yeah, man.
Cool.
Absolutely. Thanks for taking some time and getting on the show with me and doing a little chatting up. Appreciate that.
Oh, for sure. Anytime, bro.
Yeah, man. So before we dive into the questions, I just want to give a quick hello out to, I see we have Sith Lord is in the house. What's up, Sith? He was just messaging me before the show. Glad that you could make it. Good to see you then. So Ian, as you know, and I know you've caught a couple of the shows before, feel free to, go in any direction you want with any of the questions. I know I've given you some questions already. We also, if you see anything in the chat that you want to address, any questions that you want to answer from the chat, feel free to bring those up as well. We will take some time in between if there are questions or anything along the way. So we will definitely pause for that. So anybody watching live, feel free to, throw in your 2 cents if you have some feedback. So with that being said, let's jump into the questions.
Cool.
First things first, the main question is really, when was it that you first got into collecting comic books or even just reading comics? How old were you? What was your environment like back then?
Oh, man. So I have 2 older brothers that are about 10 years older than me. So they were all born in the 70s. I mean, their whole childhood was in the 70s. My childhood was like in the 80s,
Mm-hmm.
So they had another room, right? And you always want to, and they're always trying to keep us out the room anyway. They were, they had bring their friends over and they were playing Dungeons and Dragons and stuff. And me and my brother would be knocking on the door like, let me in, right? So, when they went to school or when they went to go hang out with their friends, right? They would lock their door, but it was one of those doors you could put a little nail in and open it.
And open
So yeah, because we always knew they had the cool toys, man, and like the Star Wars stuff and Millennium Falcon, and we just like me and my little brother would just bust in there, right? And we'd be all up in their room, and we'd be going through going on their bed and looking in between their mattresses, and we'd find a stack of Playboys, man. Like oh, these are cool, but in between the Playboys were comics, man. Like there was like
Nice.
Captain America, there was Avengers, and all this other stuff, man. And me and my little brother, we were like, we dug it, man. We were like little kids. We were like 6 or 7, man. But we'd go through them like crazy and bend them and fold them. And my brothers would get mad at us and, and all that stuff. Like we always thought it was cool, man. And so that's kind of how we started, with comics, is because, what's up, guys? Is because, we had older brothers that were into them, right? Yeah.
So how old were you around this time?
We're like 6 or 7, man. 6 or 7, something like that. And
right.
We would steal some of the comics, and we'd look at these Playboys like, what are these? And we'd ask my mom and get them all in trouble all the time, bro. Like, we found this under the bed, man. My mom would just like bust. I come from a Hawaiian, Mexican, Filipino family, right? Mm-hmm. And she just busts out the slipper, bro, and just start hitting people, man. Right? She just started slapping people, blah 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 blah. Why you letting your little brothers find this? It was crazy, but but we would find comics there, man. And they were big. They were big one of my big brother Ed, he was like big Dungeon and Dragon guy, man. He would have like the Dungeon and Dragon gathering, and in his room we could hear him all night playing that stuff, man.
That's cool.
And he was like big in the comics too, so we dig through his stuff, you know. So that's kind of how it all began, and when I first remembered comics. So,
nice. Do you remember kind of some of the comics that you first saw or read, or characters, or what intrigued you about them?
So like when I really started reading comics was when I was 8 or 9. So I lived in between Oakland and Hawaii on the Big Island, and we lived in this little small town called Naalehu, right? And we lived like we were poor Hawaiian, right? Like there's Hawaiians there's like there's the people that move from the mainland that have money, and there's Hawaiians, right? Like Hawaiians ain't got no money, but we got land, right? That's the big thing, right? So, our little place, man, we didn't have electricity to run the water, right? So it's just kind of like we were living like third world Hawaiian style, bro. Like, so we would always have to go to laundromats to wash our stuff, right? So, and the laundromats aren't in our small town, so we had to travel out to Hilo or Kona, right? We're like kind of in between, and we would go to this spot in Hilo, man, this little laundromat in Hilo, and we would only do laundry like maybe once every 3 weeks. So like it always is a big load for my mom. It always takes like 4 or 5 hours to wash all our clothes. So instead of me and my brother going nuts, man, in the laundromat and running in the streets in Hilo, she would either drop us off at the beach and we'd like boogie board all the time and surf, or she would give us like $5 each, and we go to this little comic shop right next door. And me and my brother would take our $5 and buy a bunch of comics, right? Buy a bunch of comics, and we'd read and trade. My brother would buy he'd always buy Ninja Turtles, like that was his thing. And I always buy like Nam. I was like super into Nam, man. It was like, I don't know, 80, 88, 89. And the Nam, and there was that TV show of Vietnam and on TV. And I was super into it. So I'd buy all the Nams. I would buy like all the trade backs and some of the issues. But my brother would always buy the single issues. He would buy a couple single issues and the trade backs. And he has all the early stuff, man. Like this was like early Ninja Turtle stuff, bro. Like, early stuff. So
that can be money, some of that.
I know, man. I know it's back at the house, man, over in Hawaii. I know it's somewhere in his stash. So next time I go there, man, I'm about to like, because he's not into comics. My brother's not into comics at all, man. My brother's just like whatever. He's more of like a real estate stock person too, so
he's moved on.
Yeah. But he likes investments, so when he heard I got heavy into comics, he's asking me like, so what do you think those Ninja Turtles are worth? I'm like, they ain't worth shit, bro. Yeah. And I'm gonna go there and stack them all. But that's how we got it kind of started, man. Like on collecting comics is just hanging out near a laundromat in Hawaii in a humid ass Hilo and reading these comics and trading back and forth, so.
That's awesome. That is great. I see a few more people have joined us. Highlight a few names here. Raging Cajun is in the house. What's up, Raging? I'm going to have Raging on next week. I believe it's next week as a guest. Good to see you, brother. Comic Book Canon. Hello. Thanks for stopping in. Freaky is in the house as well. Got the chat laughing it up. La Chunkla, yep. There you go.
That's what I'm saying, man. That boomerang slipper, bro. It's like it hit. She'd be like 10 feet away, and she'd throw it. Somehow it hit her, and somehow it fall back in her hand, and she hit the other kid. So
it's like the Captain America shield just going around.
For reals, man.
It's great. Let's see. Had the Rolling Stone painted black as the theme song. Oh, he's talking about for the Vietnam show. Very cool.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Comics and Pops, what's up, brother? Good to see you. Comics and Pops, another guest of mine previously. Thanks for stopping in. All right, cool. So, all right, so we're talking, you're 8 or 9 where you really started to read and gain interest in specific stories and certain characters and things like that. That's cool. Do you recall when you, or actually, I should ask, have you taken like breaks, or have you just constantly from that age been collecting comic books?
I'm a schizophrenic collector, bro. Like I collect everything. I'm like a hoarder, man. Like if I get zeroed in on something, man, like I'm getting it, right? So I mean, me and my brother would buy all these comics for about like 2 or 3 years, and we were like deep collecting, like me and my little brother, because we'd get $5 is a lot to like a 10-year-old kid,
Heck
so and that's all we would do is we buy comic books, and then we would trade some of the comic books for tapes from the kids at school, because in Hawaii you don't get all the stuff you get on mainland, so it was like bartering, right? But you know, I kind of took a break, man, you know, for a long time, you know, like I'm a Star Wars cat, man. You know, like
Mhm.
I've always been a Star Wars cat. And I remember you know, just going to flea markets with my mom and finding all these Star Wars figures, like vintage stuff, man.
Mm.
When I was a kid, like, you know, starting from age, you know, 9 and up, right?
Yep.
And I would always go and find these Star Wars stuff, and my mom would always, always ask my mom, like, "Hey, can you buy this for me?" And she gave us like $5, and but she taught us how to barter, man. You know, she'd always like, you know,
That's good.
if they tell you $1, man, ask them 50 cents, you know, like, and then meet them somewhere in the middle. That was always her thing. And we
Mhm.
see her do it, right? We see her do it, you know, man. Yeah, we're
Yep.
Filipino, bro. Like, you know how they are, man. You know, like Filipinos don't want to pay full price, never, man. Like, you know, it's not fun, you know, like, and my mom would have fun with it, super fun. Like, she's a super barter, man. She
Mm.
goes straight sweet old lady on somebody, man. It was over, bro. You know, like, it's crazy. I remember
I
we were in
love
New
it.
York, man, and we were with my uncle, right? And my uncle was a Caucasian dude married to like my mom's sister.
Mm.
And we'd go into these shops over in you know, little in Chinatown, and we would get a price and my uncle would get another price. We're like, what the hell's going on? Right. So my mom would just like hit them up and bring the price down for my uncle, go sweet
Nice.
old lady. And it was over, man. It's watching her do this stuff was crazy, man, when I was a kid, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah, I was a big Star Wars guy, man. So I collected Star Wars like crazy since I was young, man. So I have all, you know, I have a big collection of the old vintage stuff and all the vehicles. And
I see that stuff behind you there.
oh, for sure. Yeah, this is newer stuff. Like this is the new you know, the Black Series 6-inch line since like I think 2012. I don't know, you know, far back. But you know, it's crazy enough to where my wife, when I first met my wife, man, I was living at Oakland at the time. And I always warn my dates, man, whenever they come to my house, like, when you come to my house, it's an intergalactic battle, right? Like, it's for real, bro. Because I was a single dude in an apartment, man. I had my own spot, bro. So like, my whole place was like straight. There was like a straight Star Wars going on, man. Like, I had like shit hanging from the roofs, you know, like a little battle going. And it was scary. It would scare ladies away, man. But I would warn them, bro. But when I brought my wife in, man, she was like, these are kind of cool. I kind of like them. I'm like,
Nice.
yeah, they're worth something, you know. And
Right.
so she, you know, she's like you know, one of the only that's why I married her, right? Like,
right.
right. Like, she understood.
You're like, oh, this is the keeper. This is the keeper.
But she understood like the importance of like the intergalactic battle it is to, like, you know, these Star Wars cat.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was pretty bad in that apartment, man. It was like straight like it was the Empire against the Rebels, bro. Like, for sure, man. You know,
That's great. Well, I'm glad that she's all for it and you guys can get along with that kind of stuff, because that's important for a collector. I feel like it's good to have that support from a loved one. So that's cool. That is cool. What about you know, I know when I was on your show a little while ago, I know we talked a little bit about you know, going to Comic-Cons and things like that. Do you recall your first big Comic-Con or kind of the experience of that and when that was?
so my big first Comic-Con was like San Diego Comic-Con, like about 2012, man.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, it was about 2012, and I don't know what had happened, man. Like, I had just moved to San Diego, and I was, you know, I was kind of just taking a break from life, right? Like, you know, I have a career, and I wanted to take a break from that. So I kind of went back to old school, man. I was just kind of working odd jobs and stuff like that, and surfing all the time. Like, I was like, I'm just gonna live the surf life for like a year. And then my wife was like, my wife's friend was like, hey, I got a badge. He called, you know, it was you know, when you don't know about this stuff, he's like, I got a badge, and I got an extra badge for Thursday to Comic-Con. I'm not using it. You guys want to use it? I was like, I'll take it.
Yeah,
dude, it was over, bro. I walked in there. my buddy was all like, you know, it was Son, and I know Alonzo knows Son, right? And Son was like, here, you can have the badge, man, and, you know, just do whatever. And he's like, just don't just bring like $200 and don't bring your credit card. I was like, what are you talking about?
Yeah, don't bring
like, dude, I'll bring my credit card. Go in there, bro. Like, it was over, man. I was just buying Star Wars shit like crazy, man. I was just like, I come out like within half an hour, man. I walk into the car, and my wife's friends are there who go. They're from the Bay Area, and I had like 3 bags with me, bro. Like crazy, you know, like money gone, credit card up, you know, like it was nuts, man. And I was just hooked after that with San Diego Comic-Con. And, you know, it's like being like that, my first like major con, like it was over, man. Like it was just like money, bye money, you know.
You got a taste of that life, and that was it.
Yeah, man, it was over, bro. But
That's awesome.
San Diego is the one that got me into like really major comic, like buying comics, man. And my mentors have been always Alonzo and JR and Rob, you know, in collecting, because I only been collecting maybe like 2.5 years, like seriously, you know, like I was dabbling here and there, you know, buying, getting these free comics. One of my major things at San Diego is hanging out at the Marvel booth, right? You know, I go to DC booth here and then, man, but the DC booth kind of sucks, man, you know. So yeah, you know, like, but the Marvel booth is where you got to be, you know, like, and I would hang out there and they just give me comics, man. Like they know me, right? So they kind of like, hey, what's up, Ian? And I say, hey, what's up to everybody there.
Right.
And I'm getting all these crazy comics, man. And I'm like, and I would take pictures and send them to Alonzo. I was like, what do you think, man? He goes, damn, virgin variants. I'm like, what's a virgin variant, bro? He's like, that means there's just a picture. And I was like, I would get all these tons of like all these virgin variants, all these like incentives, and I didn't even know what the hell they were.
Wow.
And find out like they were worth, you know, a pretty penny, man. You know, like but then I just started dabbling, man. I started going into like, you know, LCSs and picking up different books, you know, primarily Star Wars stuff. So it's crazy, man. All the Star Wars stuff I got early, it wasn't worth nothing, man.
Right.
Like, you know, yeah, it's crazy. All the Dark Horse stuff. Like I'm going in my bin and I'm like, dude, I have like 2 of these like first appearance Thrawns, or 3 of them, you know, like crazy. How the hell I do that, man? Like, you know, they were like dollar binners, bro. I just go into the dollar bin and get Star Wars stuff, Boba Fett, you know, like open season and stuff like that. And, you know, all these early, like, you know, all these DC stuff, you know, I mean, Dark Horse stuff. Right. And then I really got into it like about like a couple years ago when I got a book. It was a crazy book, man. And it threw me in the rabbit hole, man. And Rob was like, bro, don't go into the rabbit hole. I'm like, man, I can't, man. It's just sucking me in, man. It's like a whirlpool, man. It's sucking me in, bro. Like, and here I am now, man, with the YouTube channel with all the homies talking about comics, and, you know, Instagram feed, like just like all comic every day, tagging no good comics, man. And you tagging me. We always going back and forth, you know, like it's nuts, man. So.
Hell yeah. Wow. So I didn't realize that that you didn't it's been fairly recent since you really dove into collecting, like seriously. That's really cool for comics. Yeah. So what was the book? What was the book that got you in like really down?
You want to know, man? Yeah, I got it right here. Like I'm gonna disappear to the
left. So I gotta know what this book is.
so I was dabbling in it for like about a year and a half before this happened. And then I was hanging over at the Marvel booth, man, and I kind of know everybody there, right? Like I know, and they all work the same cons and stuff like that, right? And I kind of know like CB, right? Like for some reason, like I just kind of know him, right? Like because I see him, I've been seeing him every year for like 5 years, and he was walking by me, right? And I was like, "What you got there, bro?" And he's like, "Hold on, I'll be back." And I kind of forgot about it while he was walking away, because he had like 4 or 5 of them, and he was walking into the crowd, right? And I was like, dude, those sketches look kind of dope. I told my buddy Daniel, who's a big TMT fan, you can follow him at TMT for Life on Instagram. And Daniel looks at me, he's like, oh, whatever, man, let's enjoy the show and get some more books, bro. And I'm like, yeah, let's do it, bro. You know, so we were enjoying the show, and then CB walks over to me and he taps me on the shoulder, and I'm like, hey, what's up, man? He goes, hey, man, I got this book for you, man. It's for like our diehards, man, our true believers. I'm like, what? He's like, yeah. And he handed me this book, and me and Daniel look at him like, what the heck is that? And he goes, there's only 25 of these made, man. So take care of it. I was like, huh, okay, cool. And then Daniel was like, you better put that in your Starfolio, man, quick. I'm like, all right, I'll put it back. And then, later on, I go to Alonzo, right? Like, cause we all meet up at the end. I go, Alonzo, what the hell is this book, bro? And Alonzo's like, I'll look it up. And we dug for like a week and a half, like 2 weeks. We couldn't find it. And like, Alonzo's like, this is Ghost, man. I asked Rob, he's like, that's Ghost, bro. And then like 3 weeks later, Rob sends me a text. He goes, this is what it is. So it was one of these, man, Silver Surfer Black 2.
Oh my God.
Yeah. And I actually slabbed it, you know?
Yep. Oh, that's beautiful.
Yeah. So this is what got me into the rabbit hole, bro. After this, it was over. It was over. So it was over, man. And then to find out, like, you know, like how much some of these sold for, I was like, what? Crazy, man. And this is becoming a major issue too, like Silver Surfer 2 Black. You know, like it's a major issue with like Void and everything, and you know, so after I got this book, it was kind of over, man. Like, you know, it was done. You know, I was collecting. You know,
when was this? This was like 3 years ago, or
this
when
was
did that
like
book come out? I'm trying to think.
2019.
17, 19. Oh, yeah,
19,
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
Okay.
just last year. Yeah,
Oh man.
2019.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. And yeah,
Dang.
because and then it was over, man. I was just, you know, like like a year and a half later, man, I got like, you know, 8 long boxes and 6 short boxes, and you know, my
Yep.
wife's like, oh, we need a bigger place now. You know, so
That's what I always
crazy,
say.
man. You
You
know,
run out of room, you just got to buy a bigger house. That's all.
yeah, man. I mean, it's crazy, man. Because I mean, yeah, I most people would just describe me like I just like I just try to look at the best in people, and I'm super friendly, I guess. And I knew, you know, I just talking to all the people at the Marvel booth for like years, like, you know,
Mhm.
and they just decided to give me a book, like an awesome book, right? Like,
It's amazing.
you know,
Yeah.
yeah.
You
So
you built those relationships. That's part of what this is about, this comic community. I mean, it's cool. You were going back again and again. So that's incredible. That is a gorgeous book. 9/8 signed. Whew.
but you know, it's like I just blame like Alonzo, and I blame like Rob,
Yep.
you know, and JR. It's all their fault, man. Every time my wife tells me like, "Why are you buying books?" I'm like, "It's JR's fault, man." You know, like, and then we got Alonzo on the show, bro, and he always like busts out these books and always costs us money because he's like, this 1 in 25 right here, or this, like, you know, this Shang-Chi, like you could see, you know, the dagger, whatever, ladies, you know, like he's the one who
Yeah.
finds them, and then we're like, if you watch the show, man, we're like, damn, Lonzo, you just cost me more money, man.
Yep.
You know, and then Azores comes on, you know, like last week, and you guys will see that, and he just cost me more money too. Like, damn you, Azores, bro. Like, and I know a Sith Lord is gonna come on, he's gonna cost me money, and then you cost me money too, no good. You know, like because the Daredevil stuff, you said,
Oh
oh
yeah.
man, you gotta check this Daredevil
You
run out,
definitely
bro. So
got
I
to
go out
check
there
that
and like, that's
Daredevil out.
costing me money, man. Y'all are costing me
Yeah.
money, bro.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Hey, could you hold that book up one more time? Chet's in the house. He wanted to see what he missed. Chet is a big fan of big books getting signed, especially.
Yep, the
There you go,
rabbit hole.
Chet.
And I got this signed by Donnie Cates, like I think in January, right before COVID broke. You know, me and
Did you meet
Big Rob
him?
went over there. Yeah, he's cool, man. He's
Yeah,
cool.
that's cool.
So I'm a big barbecue a guy, and we always do this barbecue con thing out in Texas, me and my brother and my nephew. And I asked him, like, dude, because he lives in Austin. I was like, what's up, man? He's like, where do you go? Where do you go when you go to when you want barbecue? He's like, Cooper's, man, Cooper's. You got to go to Cooper's. I was like, it's better than Frank's. He's like, Cooper's. I was like, so I gotta check it out, man. We're gonna do a review and see if Donnie's right, you know. But you know, this is a California guy talking to a Texas dude, bro.
Right.
You know, like he's cool though, yo. He's, you know, he is what he is, how he presents himself, man. He's just like he's a kind of bigger than life dude, you know, like with you know, real strong opinions, you know. So
Right. Yeah, and it's been working out pretty well for him, I'd say. He's been crushing it. So, well, that's very cool, and didn't realize it's cool to hear about. Again, like everybody that I've been talking to, getting into the community, we're all kind of close in when we really like dove into collecting it again, or, you know, if some people took a break, like everybody kind of came back into it between 2017 and 2019, you know, around that range. It seems like, anyways, for people I've been talking to, and at least for Instagram, which is another thing I want to ask you is what made you want to make, or actually I should ask, is the Instagram account that you have dedicated just to comics? Or and if so, like, do you have like a private, you know, personal account as well? And then my other question is, like, why did you make it, or what made you want to make an Instagram account for comics?
oh man, so I have like 3 accounts on Instagram. So I have there's a account. So this is not my, you know, my first foray into like social media and doing you know, post production stuff. Like I had a pretty big Instagram feed called Cooking It Up. It's when I got back into surfing, and I wanted to document it, right? So I had a big pretty decent following on there and on my blog. So that taught me, right? That kind of taught me like how this whole thing works, like what's a algorithm, and what are hashtags, and how do you mix that up to get people get your, you know, your feed viewed. And then I created a whole little toy, you know, my whole figure stuff, Instagram. And it's, if you just look up Hood Rat, that's me, man. You know, like it's always Hood Rat. So it's Hood Rat Jedi. That was my little. That's my other one. And
Nice.
then I just created this, man, because it was like I kind of jumped out of toys and jumped into the rabbit hole of comics, and I love to like just like interact with the community and be part of like the bigger population of like who our fam is, right? So
Sure.
that's why I created Hood Rat Comics, man, and I did that about a year ago.
Mhm.
And it's been going cool. I mean, I met you, and I met Sith Lordy,
Totally.
Azorus, and we're all just homies, man. I mean, if I'm leaving you out, man, you guys are all homies, like Big Chris, and we got Jimmy, James, and all these other cats, man, that I've met, and we're all just like, it's cool, man. And that's what I dig about the comic community, man. Is like everybody's like open-minded, and it's a totally welcoming thing. Like you got your old school cats like JR, who are like, oh, I don't like key collector, blah blah blah. Like shut up, JR. Like but I love JR. He's like a brother, but he knows I'm messing with him. The old guard, man. You got the old guard cats, but then you got cats like Alonzo and Rob, who've been doing it for a long time and are always welcoming, man. And that's like the majority of what we do, out here, so.
Totally, man. It's cool to hear kind of the story of how you got into the community and kind of discovered it. I mean, even for myself, yeah, I had no idea that there was a community until I created my account. And next thing you know, like you said, you start making friends, you start getting to know people, you start hanging out, virtually or meeting up with people. I see you meeting up with people from time to time at LCSs and things like that. I think that's awesome. And being able to, have these conversations both in person and digitally, you just get to know people. It's really cool.
Bro, if you lived out here on the West Coast, we probably be kicking it too.
100%, man. And I will make it out there. I will
man.
make it out there. When I do, I'm definitely hitting you up. All you guys.
For sure, man. I took you on the crawl like I did like Sith Lordy and Azorus, bro.
Let's do it. That sounds dope. By the way, I missed Azorus from earlier, so good to see you, brother. Didn't see you in here before. Thanks for stopping in. All right, cool. So do you next question I have to ask you is kind of, now that you're really have dove into this hobby and you're buying up a lot of different things. Now I know this question, it probably has an answer that can change from time to time, but as of right now, what is the big goal for you, or what does the big picture look like for why you collect comic books, why you stay in this hobby? When you 20, 30, 40, 50 years down the road, where do you expect these comics to go? Are you selling? Are you flipping? Are you taking them to the grave? Are you passing them along to kids or family members? What is it for you right now as to why you're buying them?
So my big goal is, get the big three, man, like giant, or the big four, like the giant size X-Men, complete the 180, 181, 182 circle, and get that Fantastic Four number, 48, man. Like 7.0s or higher, man. That's my goal. Okay. Right. Like, I really, that's where I want to be. And I almost did it, man. I almost did it. But, we had to buy a house, man. And so, all
do what
that
you got to do, man.
Yeah,
Life
we all had to do that, man. So like, I have to kind of start all over again, but in the end, man, like if you don't sell your books, man, you're just going to have like, you're just gonna be a hoarder, man. Like there's a time when you're looking at, like, I'm at that time in my collection, I'm like, damn, man, why do I always got these damn books? So I have to sell my books, man. Like, I have to, and it all kind of goes into account to get those major goals, man. Like that major goal is like, the giant size X, man. Like I said, the 181, 180, 181, 182, circle of comic life, right? Like, and then that Fantastic Four number 48, man. So, but right now, like, I'm super into pressing, man. Like, I'm just like kind of streamlined focus on like learning how to press and press well,
Oh, cool.
And I've been getting pretty good at it, man. I mean, the guys from Spine Ticks, Al and Roberto, man, I'm always shooting messages, man, and they give me really good advice, and I learn new things, and I kind of, I shoot them like, hey, why don't you try this? Why don't you try a little like a teepee, man, in your humidity, in your humidity chamber, right? Like, and that's the love, right? You like still like pressings, like, you still got the Ogar, like, hey man, what do you use, man? What type of paper you use now, man? You got to do it yourself. But I'm like, damn, man, really? But that's the fun part, right? Like, it's like hunting, man. You ain't gonna tell anybody where your honey hole is, right? Like,
it's true.
Oh no, like, so I get it, man. I get it, man. There's a lot of work into it, so
yeah.
But in the end, like, I want to pass a lot of stuff on to my kid, He's a big Spider-Man Miles fan, so
Nice.
I've been collecting a ton of Miles stuff, and a lot of Spider-Man stuff just for him.
That's awesome, and those are some characters you can never go wrong with, no matter what collection you're trying to obtain. So that's cool. That is really cool. Yeah, it's interesting to hear. And I know that's certainly a question that's going to change for all of us as time goes on kind of what goals we want, and even the books that we're targeting. I've got books that I want to get. Some I've already gotten, and now I feel like, okay, I got to add more to that list.
It's always something, man. If you got friends like Alonzo and JR and Rob, man, like you're always just like, bro, man, I was good like a day ago. Now I got this.
Always 2 steps behind.
Costing me money, man.
Yeah. I like what Chet said here. He said, you got to follow him on Instagram to spend more money. That dude's posting a lot of stuff. Chet's he's got some good sign stuff too. He's always moving. So very cool. So we talked a little bit about some certain books that you brought up earlier. I wanted to ask if you had any special books that you wanted to show off here or talk about that really meant something special to you in any way, whether it's value or personal or any reason.
I mean, besides the Silver Surfer Black, this is one of my other favorites in my collection. Is this, and I'm not showing off, man. This is just one of my favorites. Right?
Yeah, no, it's
one of my favorites, man. Like I'm a big Disneyland guy. We live in SoCal, man, and before COVID, man, me and my wife, like we're lucky we have a family member that works there, right? Yeah, we were there every other weekend, man. So having this in my collection, right? Like I actually found this in Washington, man, for like a really good price, like $250, man. At a 9.8. So when I saw this, man, I was just like, gotta get it, man.
Hell yeah.
And then I got my, one of my favorites that's actually getting slabbed should get back is a Hulk annual, man. That's one of my that was one of the ones I wanted to get like at a pretty high grade.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and I had the homie, man, Nick. You can find him at Fire Sale Comics. He pressed it and cleaned it, man. And we're hoping for a good grade. And he found a lot of different. He's really good at what he does, man. Like he found like some glue that was on it, like trying to keep the pages together. So it may not get the highest grade, but I think the cover is the color on that cover is so vivid that no matter what grade you get, it's gonna pop.
Right?
It's a sick cover, man.
I was gonna say, it presents well.
Oh, it presents sick, man. Like that. When I saw the color on it, man, even Nick is like, that color pops, man. Something about that old paper, man. It's that old newspaper paper what gloss they put on it, man. Yeah, it just never dies. Like I see some of the comics you put on Instagram, that red, like some of the Fantastic Four stuff. Yeah, it never dies, man. Like that color is just so vivid, and it's just gives you this real warm feeling when you look at it, right?
Yeah, you don't see it nowadays. That's for sure. It's definitely something just from the old ones. I know exactly what you're talking about.
And another one is just my Stan Lee right here.
Love that.
My Stan Lee. That's actually where I met Alonzo, man. We were at this comic shop over here in the Orange County, and Stan was signing there. It was like maybe 6 months before he passed away.
Wow.
Me and my wife were in line. My wife was pregnant with our little dude. And then Alonzo and his buddies walked over, like, hey man, you want to jump in, over here in line with us? We got these VIPs, and we're like, cool, man, like, thanks, dude. And then we chopped it up, man. Later, like, I don't know, however long it was, 4 years later, man, we're all just family now.
That's crazy. Like, I didn't know that's how you guys met.
Yeah, it was the OC crew, man. Like, we're just all family. That. Like, Alonzo, Ken, and and OC Rob, man. We're just like fam, So we've been through the battles, man. We've been through ever since then, man. We've been through the battles of San Diego Comic-Con together and collecting, and now we're all like on a podcast together, man.
Dude, I love it, man. And I've heard some of the stories, and you guys are a great crew. I really appreciate the content you're putting out there. And I will say, guys, if you're not, like I said before, if you're not following Ian, check the link down below. I also put your YouTube link down there too for Team Nerd Herd. So if you guys are not familiar with Ian's show, definitely check that out. You guys have so much content coming out. It's awesome. I mean, you don't miss a beat. I appreciate you guys keeping us up to date on some of the newer picks and things like that. I watch those. So, I appreciate all the effort, because I know it takes a lot of time and effort putting this stuff together. So it's good stuff.
Yeah, man. Yeah. It's just, it costs, being on that show costs everybody money. because we see all this stuff that, because you can't keep up, right?
No, right.
And then when I see something Rob puts up, or I see something that like Steve has been hot, man. Like he's the one who kind of call it autumnal, and you just buy stuff, bro. Like it's crazy.
Dude, you guys on those shows, man, you guys find some crazy deals. You guys find some crazy, like, dollar bin deals, $5 bin deals, that you're pulling stuff out. And I'm just like, damn, it's I haven't really been out much since the pandemic. Just kind of playing it safe. And I really do miss that stuff though. And just seeing you guys pull stuff out, I'm like, damn, I gotta get back out there. I'm behind. I do all my stuff on Instagram now, which is okay. There's some good stuff, if you know the right buyers.
Oh, for sure.
But I'm doing what I can. So all right, I want to ask a little bit about kind of currently where are you at with what books are you reading right now, whether they are current books or if you're going back to reading some older Silver Age or Bronze Age. What are some titles that you're reading right now?
Oh man, I'm constantly reading, man. So I got a big list, man. When you asked me before, like, so
give me top five. Give me a top
because
five.
of you, man. I started reading Zdarsky's Daredevil run.
Oh, you did, yeah,
right, yeah. So I caught up and sick, man. It's like one of the best runs out there, man.
Right?
Like it's still a sleeper, right? Like
yeah.
People are still catching on, like, huh? But like he's in jail, and I don't want to see all that. I want to see him out there, like, struggling the Daredevil way, like, always messing with the wrong lady, and and then
Yep.
he's always doing, always getting stuck. And then Venom is a big one. Everybody's reading. You got Thor. But Tinian has a lot of good stuff too, man. He got that Batman run, and and
I've heard good things, man.
Yeah, Something's Killing the Children. And his new book, man, Department of Truth. Bro, you need to. Man. If y'all haven't read that, man, I haven't read it yet. Man, that's gonna be good, man.
I heard about that. Yeah.
The reveal at the end, I ain't gonna spoil it, man. But you'd be like, huh?
Oh,
okay,
man.
That makes sense, man. Then Firepower has been a good one that I've been really enjoying.
I've heard about that one too. Yeah.
Yeah, it's good, man. And then Mortal Hulk, man. I've been stuck on that, man. Like I've been reading Mortal Hulk since the beginning, and that's one of the early books I was picking up.
Okay.
And back in 2018, whenever it started, and it's just the horror side of it. It's like it steps on the line of horror, but it still stays superhero, right?
Right.
Like and it's just so out there. It's a great run, man. And then I started reading like all the Miss Marvels.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, man. Like it's really well written, man. And I enjoy the stories, man. I enjoy the perspective of it. It's a different perspective on being a superhero, man. And just show
the current stuff, the current run.
Yeah. Even the run, the stuff from 2016 or whatever it started. Yeah, from her first run.
Right.
Her first one was really good, man.
Nice.
And then Philadelphia is another one, man, that I love, man. Rodney Barn. That's another one that I'm really enjoying too.
Oh, damn, man, that's awesome. It sounds like you're all over the map. You definitely named some big books that I've dabbled in some. I haven't read Philadelphia yet. Some of the other Image books and Boom books I have not read yet, but Immortal Hulk I was all over for a while. I kind of slowed down just because I was trying to budget and buy other things, and but I hear it's still going great. So I mean, I'll definitely jump back on at some point. I think I stopped on like issue 20 or something. Same thing with Venom, actually. I stopped at like issue 14 or 16. It was right around the War of the Realms when they had that tie-in. So I took a little bit of a break from that, but yeah, I hear it's still going great. I just caught up with the Thor stuff, by the way. So that's been great. But it sounds like some great books. I wanted to run through some of the chat here. Alonzo saying, always finds the deals. Yeah, those honey holes, man. You really are always finding those secret places. Glad I grabbed Autumnal. What is that one?
Autumnal. That's a new one by Vault. Yeah, it's a pretty good book,
Oh, nice. I'm not even familiar with. Man, there's things I got to catch up on still. Raising $3 and $5 fines are amazing. They really are.
Oh man, it's like Christmas, bro. Like when you're going through that, and you're like, what did I just find?
Yep. Yep. Find some gold there. What's up, Kavi? Kavi's in the house. Comic Book NYC. And we got Martin in the house as well. Good to see you, brother. Thanks for stopping in. I'm glad you could make it. Another NYC brother. couple, and you guys should show up at the same time. Do you guys coordinate that, or all right, cool, man. So next thing I wanted to kind of go about asking was I always like to bring this segment up because there's a lot of new collectors that are just approaching the hobby for the first time, or maybe they're just revisiting it and they used to be in the hobby a long time ago. And I like to talk about kind of what kind of advice would you give someone that's brand new to approaching this hobby? Because I mean, this hobby, it can come off as intimidating. There's a lot of people with a lot of opinions, and sometimes other people don't want to ask questions. They're nervous to feel like they're going to look silly or look dumb for asking a question that should be known. And I try to welcome people into this hobby. Obviously, we want this hobby to grow. We want the community to grow. So for someone new just getting into the hobby, is there any advice, whether it's detailed advice or just some broad advice that you might have for them that you normally would give?
I mean, I think the biggest advice I can have is just having, friends that are in it, so you're just not buying a bunch of books that are like, the hot thing, right? Like knowing you, right? Like, you and JR are like, oh man, you better check out that Daredevil run, right? That's, and you get into like a really good book, right? Like you're starting off really well. You're starting off reading really good stuff, I know like JR is a big X-Men fan, and he told me to start doing that House of 10, man, House of X, or whatever you want to call it, right? That was a great one too, and I would have not known any of that stuff without these guys, man. Just having really good friends, and able to ask them good questions and bouncing off stuff off them, and having just really fun discussions about things that they're interested in, and maybe it might interest you, and I mean, we have a motto over here on our show over on Team Nerd Herd. It's just like, if you want to do it right, collect what you if you want to do it right, collect what you like, right? Like collect what you like, if you try to follow the trends, man, you're just gonna say bye-bye to your money,
Right.
Collect stuff that you like, man, like that you can connect with, and and things that you enjoy. And if you want to make a little money, like and try and take a stab, and and spec a little bit, go ahead, man, but you're gonna lose money, right. But if you connect with things and you actually read what's going on in the books, like what's going to happen down the line, right? Like so it helps your spec value, right? So just like like that's the best advice I can have friends have friends prior to like jumping into this, so you're not like just diving in and buying everything, right?
Some guidance.
Have some guidance, man, and collect what you like, man. It's the
Yep.
best thing. Because I started just buying Star Wars books, like just buying Dark Horse books like crazy,
Right.
just cover buys, there's Boba Fett on this run, like open season, I'm gonna buy it, and now look at what's going on with it, right? But I bought what I liked before. It was stuff that I really enjoyed,
Yep.
So
Totally. I love that. And definitely, I would say for sure that's something I haven't heard many people talk about, but the idea of having that support, having those groups of friends or people that can kind of give you suggestions, give you advice, and not just dive into this hobby, all alone. It certainly can, go a long way to just have that group or that crew to kind of bounce ideas off of, kind of
and having a good LCS too, because I have a pretty good one. Matthias kind of welcomed me into that LCS. My polls over at Nowhere Games and Comics in San Marcos, and man, I live in San Diego, bro, and I drive all the way out to get my pull every Wednesday, because I know I know that he's an honest dude. He's always gonna have an honest price, and he's always gonna tell me what's up beforehand. He's not gonna go, oh, I told you 25, but it's 50 because it's 60 on eBay. Like he's a cool dude, man. Like, I appreciate him, man. I appreciate him for welcoming me into this, into this whole what I call rabbit hole, man. Having a good LCS with a good owner too, man. That's another one, right?
That's big. That I 100% agree with that. And not everybody's fortunate enough to have, those good locations around you. Luckily for me, I have a couple. But yeah, you're right. I mean, it certainly helps when you have some people that you can talk to at the shop. You can get advice, you can get ideas there too. And like you said, these, especially honest, shop owners. There's some good ones out there. There's some bad ones, but there's also some really good ones. So
there's some bad ones.
You got to find the right ones. Yeah. Well, I love that. I love that advice. Appreciate you putting that out there. I want to get it a little bit into the segment of, as I've told you before, I'd like to ask kind of some rapid questions, some that have to do with comic books, some that have to do with other parts of life. So let's jump into that, and then we'll wrap up with any last minute shout outs, and go from there. So actually, let me grab this. So first big question is, who's your favorite character? Marvel, DC, anything? If you had to pick one.
Pick one. Oh man, that's big, man. I mean, I think it's I would say it's a run between Venom and Daredevil, man. You know, and Brock, because they're just like they come. I like the grittiness, man. You know, I like reading the comic and smelling fish. You know, like that, because I come from Oakland, right? Like and we would always hang in Chinatown, man, down there, man. It always smelled like fish, bro. But you always because Chinatown, Oakland is hella fishy, man. Like there's always some fishy shit going on in Chinatown, man. Like you're like, why did that big old sedan just like drop off all these dudes like, that are all kind of shady, man? Like, you know, like, you know, and that's why I like Venom and Daredevil, man. Every time I read it, it's like that stench of like something fishy's going on here. It's like gritty. I love gritty, man. That's why I like Philadelphia, the grittiness of that, of the storytelling by Rodney Barnes I dig it, man. You know, so it'd be between those two, man, right now. It always changes, though. You know, always changes, man. Of course. Like, I kind of like what's your name from Something's Killing the Children, man, because she's just like, I don't care, man. I'm just gonna do what I gotta do. You know, like she's a great character, man. Right. You know, so
it is a tough question for sure because there's so many good ones. I love that. I love that. All right. What about if you had a superpower of your choice, what would that superpower be?
Oh man, I'd be like Professor X, man. Just read minds, man. Or Jean Grey. Or, nice. you know, move things with my mind, right? You know, that's or talk to people silently, right? Like, you know, like that. Or I dug that, man. Sorry about that. Oh, no, every time that's my key to take my book out of the humidifier, so it can stay a little bit longer. But yeah, man, just to read minds, man, because if you can read minds, man, you're always a step ahead. You know,
hell yeah. No one can fool you there.
No, if I can read minds, I'm playing poker, man, and with all my buddies, man, and it's over.
Yep.
You know, like,
you can do that full time. You don't even got to work at that point,
right?
That's great. That's great. All right. What about if is there an artist or a writer? If you could meet any one artist or writer of all time, whether they're dead or alive, is there a certain creator that you would like to have been able to meet and shoot the shit with?
Man, I kind of met all the guys I like, but hey, who would I want to meet, man? I would like to meet the guys from Bitter Root, man. Chuck Brown, and Sanford Green, Hell
yeah, nice.
I dig their stuff, dude. I dig On the Stump, and I dig Bitter Root. And I would just love to like meet him and chop it up, man. Chop up with them, because the thing about it, their stuff is super deep, man. Like it's a lot of stuff that resonates what's going on in our society, right? And then they always have this history lesson on the back page. Like, damn, I didn't know all that. Like these guys, these guys are some super like educated people. Like
there's a bigger plan.
Yeah, we're gonna have like on our show, we're gonna have Dinesh, right? From he used to run Valiant, and now he's doing Bad Idea. And dude, I mean, people like that are just very like thoughtful and have this deepness to them, really resonates with me, because I get to learn something, and like I want to learn what they've learned, and I want to learn like more about their experience, and it just does that deepness, man. Like it matters, so.
That's awesome, man. That's great. What about favorite superhero film? It could be a TV show or film, anything that has to relate to a comic book.
Old Superman stuff, man. Yeah? Superman 1, 2, and 3, man. I grew up in that era, man. Like, Reeves when he was Superman, man. Just that was my guy when I was a kid, man. Superman. I always had dreams of me flying like him. There was times I had dreams where I just jump on a roof and I start flying, and there's times I jump on a roof in my dreams and just fall on my ass, because I just dug Superman. I dug that little curl. Remember that curl he would have?
Oh yeah.
And I always tried to do that when I was a kid, man. The signature curl.
To get the curl, yeah.
Grease it up and have that curl. I just dug it, man. And Lois Lane and stuff. And I just dug like in Superman 2, and when he spun around the world and turned back time, I was like, you can really do that.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
so I dug Superman, when I was a kid,
I love it.
especially like bad Superman. And I think it was like Superman 3, like the evil Superman. Do you remember that? Yeah,
Oh,
when
I
he
don't know
was
if I
like
watched this
drinking and
Superman
stuff.
3.
He's all traumatized and he's drinking and he had a beard and stuff. And
Mm.
like I was like, dude, that's a badass Superman. We should have more bad Supermans, So
Good stuff, man. Good stuff. I love that. I wanted to ask you. All right, so here's some non-comic book related stuff. What does a Friday night look like to you in terms of the meal of your choice on a Friday night with you, your family? If you could pick anything in the world to eat at that time for dinner, what would that ideal meal be?
well, that would be ramen, man, over at Menya over here in San Diego, bro. Oh, damn. Yeah, we've been we kind of do that every Friday, Friday or Saturday. We go to this place called Ultra Menya out here in San Diego, and it's like I'm from the Bay, man. So like like food, like you better have something, like that's good, because in the Bay, man, like growing up in the Bay, like we had great Chinese food, we had great Mexican food, we had great like ramen, we had great everything, man. Like and moving out to San Diego, it's like it was hard to find those spots. But I gotta say, man, Ultra Menu, if you come down here, bro, I'll take you, man. You'd be like, damn, like
sign me up, man.
It's the best. San Diego has some places, man. Like they have, like, I always promote on the show, like a Cuatros Milpas, like this Mexican place here. It's super good, man. But it would be Cuatros Milpas ain't open at dinner, and San Diego people would know. But Ultra Menu, man, is having that ramen with that chatsu, dude. And extra noodles. Great. Oh, damn, man. It's the best, man.
It sounds great, man.
And my kid, that's the one thing my kid has expensive taste, man.
Oh,
it's
yeah?
Crazy. Like he'll eat certain things, but when we go to Menya, bro, like he's all over it. So
yeah, that's great.
Yeah, it matters.
I'm gonna hold you to that when I come out there. Then
I'll take you, bro, for sure.
That's dope. All right, next question. Who is your favorite sports team, if you have one?
Man. I'm from the town, man. So it's always Raiders, it's the A's, and it's the Golden State. Nice. Like when I moved here from Oakland, man, all the San Diego cats like, you're just a Golden State bandwagon. I'm like, bro, I had season tickets when they sucked, man. I had season tickets during like Curry's, rookie year. Me and my wife, we had a season ticket packet. Wow. And we watched Curry grow, like it was like awesome. Our little kid, man. Like we had Curry on the bench when Mark Jackson was the coach, and then we watched him like start playing the second year when his ankle was jacked up, and then we saw him flourish, man, when the new coach came on. Like it was the best, man.
That's awesome. Oh, you got some I got some Raiders fans in here.
I know, man. No, but I know Alonzo, man. He's a Rams fan, so he got nothing to say.
Raging with the Lakers. Woo. Well, so I was gonna say the A's are they're in the playoffs right now, right?
They're in playoffs, man. Yeah.
They just took down the White Sox, I think, right?
No, man. I hope we go, man. The A's, though, man, it's just like it's like it's their teasers, man. Like you always think they're really good, and then they play the Yankees, bro, and it's over. Like damn it. And then they still are players. Like when they still Giambi, man. I was like, how could you do that to us, man? Like just go to the Yankees, man. Like, but that's what they do. We're like we're the farm team for the Yankees, man.
Yeah, the farm team. That's a good way to look at it. I was gonna say, it's funny you bring that up. I have never, up until recently, just watched for the first time the movie Moneyball, and I never saw it before. Have you seen Moneyball?
I did, yeah.
So so never saw it before. I used to not even be a big baseball guy until I met my girlfriend over 3 years ago. She got me into baseball, and she's a diehard Yankee fan. She knows way more than I do about the sport itself. And it was like, I don't know, a couple of weeks ago where something got brought up, and she's like, "Wait, you never saw Moneyball before?" I was like, "Never saw it." She's like, "You need to watch that movie now." So we go and watch the movie. Ever since I watched Moneyball, I'm like, I kind of like the A's.
Right,
I could root for him a little bit, not over the Yankees, but I hope to see him do good.
But I'll tell you the greatest experience I ever had, because I used to go to New York a lot because my uncle lives out there.
Okay, yeah.
Is going to Yankees games, man.
Oh yeah, did you go to
him taking me to Yankees? Yeah, we used to go in the old Yankee Stadium. We'd be in the bleachers, and you see the diehards with the freaking tattoos up their arms and
Hell yeah.
talking that New York accent, man. And
Yeah.
you know, but it's crazy those old stadiums like the Yankee Stadium and the Dodgers. You can't if you're in the bleachers, you're in the bleachers, man. You ain't going nowhere because
Right.
they block you off from going into from stealing seats in the main section, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it's super like you ain't going nowhere. That you paid for the bleachers, you staying in the bleachers, you know,
Yeah,
like
yeah,
you
man.
know? But it was great, man. I remember we went there for one game and there was no one out there because it was raining,
Hmm.
and you could and I dug how like the Yankees turn around to the bleachers and they tap their their hats.
They go through the
like,
roll call. Yeah.
Roll call is dope, bro. If anything in your life, man, you got to go to Yankee game.
Hell
Right?
yeah. Yep. Agree with you there. Definitely. I like a lot of the chats talking about Moneyball. It's a great movie. Definitely.
Dope, dude.
I'm not even a baseball fan. He says it's a great movie. It's cool. All right, cool. So let's talk a little bit I know we got about 5 minutes or so, but let's talk a little bit about music. I know you have some guitars behind you. I know you're a music guy. Tell us a little bit about one, what kind of instruments you play, and two, who are you currently listening to nowadays?
Oh man, I play everything, man. Like I started learning guitar in Hawaii because there's this big thing called May Day. And I was pretty good at the ukulele when I was like in maybe third grade, and my teacher said, "Why don't you try guitar so you can play guitar during May Day?" You know, and we sing like old Hawaiian songs and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I've been playing since I was pretty young, man. But I really started like really getting deep into it in my 20s, right? Like I learned classical guitar before. So my fingers are super ready to do whatever, man. If you learn classical, you can play anything, you know? But then I started making my own music, right? And if you know how to read notes and it all connects, man. You learn piano. Playing piano is easy, man. Like compared to playing guitar, you know? So I mean the basics, if you could just to play a tune, to play like a pop tune, you could learn it quick. Totally. I'm not saying it's classical. Like,
I hear you.
And then learning drums and stuff. Like, if you like my classical teacher used to tell me, like, man, if you need to play everything with a metronome, because if you could play everything with a metronome, then you could play anything on beat, you know, and it really helped, man. But guys that I'm big into, man, is like Jason Isbell. I'm really into folk right now, you know.
Nice.
And I like John Mayer's old stuff, man. You know, like before he started doing his whatever he's doing now, you know, like but that
new one's a little bit of a pop, but the album before the newest stuff that he put out is actually pretty good. I like his stuff. A lot of his stuff.
I need to listen to it, man. But I'm super into hip hop too, man, because I grew up around that stuff, you know, like I'm an old school hip hop head, man. So and you'll hear a lot of music stuff that's going on in our show too, because I'm from Oakland, man, and everybody wants to be a rapper, man. So you just know dudes that make beats, you know, and they're super talented like composers out there, man. You know, like that don't have any like training, but they're just talented, man. They know how to put a good beat, and they know how to connect chords, right? You know, like and that matters, man. And they have this sense of like when to put in minors, and minor sevenths, to make it a little bit more jazzy, like but I'm a big jazz fan too, man. So like Miles and Theolis Monk and Wes Montgomery, man, was a big guy that really I used to listen to when I was young. If you're a jazz fan, you know what's up, man. Wes Montgomery, probably one of the greatest like guitar players ever, that never got his props, man, because he had his own style. And then the Django, was another big one, man. When I was playing classical, just hearing, dude had 3 fingers, bro. Like how the hell was he doing what he did? It's crazy, man. And he was, his hand got burnt and he had to retrain himself like to play, and like it's amazing the stuff when you're hearing it, and then Eric Clapton was a big one for me when I was a kid, man. His Unplugged blew my mind.
Oh man, that's some of the best stuff. Yeah, hell yeah.
It's crazy, man. Like this, like the blues. I'm a big blues guy because that's what you do, when you're in guitar. Like you don't like blues, and then you learn blues, and like, damn, this is the base of everything, man. And you start playing everything else, right?
True. So true. So you said it's cool too. So you started out with guitar, and then later opened up to even more.
I just trained myself because I would write my own music, man. And it's so easy now when you have GarageBand, right? Like you just have to. You just have to buy like a half a keyboard,
Yep.
you know, and you could write your own stuff, man. You know,
No more need for a 4-track or anything like that.
no, man, that garage, they make it so easy now, man. You
Yep.
know, like,
Some people don't even know what 4-tracks are.
right.
That's awesome, man. Yeah, I started out piano and then I ended up self-teaching myself guitar a little bit.
Well, if you know piano, then it
So,
translates to everything because
everything. Yeah.
you understand chord structure.
Yeah.
You understand like you know, you understand it all, right? Like,
Yep.
so
Even
you know,
drums. I feel like piano kind of ties into drums because you need to have that rhythm when you're playing certain
oh
chords and
yeah.
stuff like that. So I feel like it ties in. But that's dope, man. That is cool. I knew you were a musician. I knew that you did a lot with music. So it's cool to hear a little bit of more detail of kind of the behind the scenes stuff that you do. You know, other than just the hood rat comic stuff. So very cool, very cool.
Oh yeah, but now, man, it's like, you know, I just play I just play the stuff that I practice every day, just keep my chops up, and I do my
Dude, nice.
classical
Yeah.
exercises and sing my kid, you know, like Free Falling all the time. He loves that song. That's his jam, you know.
Yeah.
Free Falling, and then
It's a good one.
a couple of Jason Isbell songs just to keep me up, and Jack Johnson songs to keep my chops.
Yep.
That's about it, man, you know.
That's
so
dope. See in the chat here, Martin, Weston, those jazz octaves. Playing guitar since I was 13, but that's still a style I haven't really dug into. And
but
then,
you know, like you know, but Wes, right? Like he didn't really start playing until he was like 24, 25,
older.
right? Older. So like that's
Mhm.
what it means a lot, because it doesn't mean like you could pick up a guitar anytime and learn if you're 45 or 50. You
Yeah.
can get really good if you really like motivate yourself to stick to it, man. Like for like 3-4 years, like train yourself in classical,
Yep.
move on to jazz. If you know, like, because jazz is just improvising, man. It was all these cats. So what jazz was is all these cats in New Orleans, man. They would compete for gigs, right? So they'd all join into this band, and you know, like you know, the rest of the band would play rhythm and the other guy would play, and then they would butt heads, man, to see who's playing better. And that's all jazz, right? Like if you learn that, man, and you can improvise and you can hear it from your ear, like all it takes is 3 years of just like really like just focusing in, man, on playing, right?
Practice, repetition. Absolutely. Well, that's cool, man. Good stuff. We are just about at the hour mark. Before we wrap things up, or as we wrap things up, though, I want to say first, thank you, Ian, so much for being on the show. I really appreciate your time. I love this talk. We definitely have to do more of these. I wanted to say, too, tell the people a little bit about where they can find you on social media, YouTube, and give us a little brief rundown about what you do on YouTube, on your content that you're putting out for anybody who hasn't seen it yet.
Yeah, so guys, we have a YouTube channel called Team Nerd Herd, and we have 3 really main shows, right? We have our Top Picks that airs every Sunday around 6, and then we have our Mail Call, which is us, you know, kind of showing off what we got, but which is really good for like collectors, because you can see like a gambit variety of what people are getting, right? Because all of us have different tastes, man, you know. And then we have our What If show, where we just kind of shoot the breeze about current stuff in comics. And we always have a guest, you know, we have guests lined up all the way down like until November, you know, interesting guests. And one of my favorite, you know, one of our favorite interviews was Sweeney Boo. We had her on like about a month ago, you know, and it was awesome. I got to thank Alonzo. He does all the booking, man. He does. That's his role, and that's his big role with us. And he always gets all the great guests, man. And we're going to have a lot of cats, you know, we've had Justin on. Justin was on, one of our first guests ever.
Hell yeah.
You know, we're having a lot of cats from the Spine Ticks. You know, we're all cousins, right? The No Goods Comics, and you know, and the and the Spine Ticks, we're all like kind of cousin YouTube fam, you know.
Hell yeah.
We're gonna have Sith Lordy on. We had Al on, and we had Azorus on this week. But we just love talking, man. It just all started because of COVID, because we couldn't meet up, you know. So like, let's just tape something, you know, and just tape and throw it on YouTube.
Hell yeah.
And 6 months later, man, we're all like production up, you know. Like, so.
Well, I love it, man. I love your content. Like I said earlier, guys, if you're not subscribed to him, I put the link in the description below on this channel. And I wanted to bring up, I saw Mercy's in the house. What's up, Mercy? He had a question. Do you have the good do they have the good prices at San Diego Comic-Con compared to other cons? Yeah, is San Diego Comic-Con, is that expensive?
It's about like I mean, it's it doesn't matter how much it costs because you got to get a badge, right? Like getting a badge and the whole process of getting into San Diego Comic-Con it's a pain in the ass, man.
Similar to
Like,
New York, I imagine.
oh yeah, no, it was
Right.
San Diego. It's like we call it the wheel of death, man. You sit there during, like open reg or, returning reg, and you're just like hoping to get in, like,
Yeah.
but you have to have friends, man, to get into San Diego Comic-Con and just pay whatever. It's like $350 for like 4 days and a preview pass if you can get it.
Yeah.
But like the key to getting into San Diego Comic-Con is jumping in with a group, a badge group, and helping each other out to get in. Because if you get in, you can get 2 of your homies in, right? And we have the team Nerd Herd, man. There's only 5 of us on there,
Right.
but there's like 50 of us, man. Like
Yeah.
we're like a big Comic-Con fan. And that's how we get in. We just have like a big badge pool, man. And we all work together. Like and everybody gets a day or 4 days at least, 3 to 4 days. So
That's dope.
But
man.
is it expensive? Save your money, man. You go to San Diego Comic-Con, you're gonna spend like $3,000, and you don't even know how you did it. So save your money.
And I should say, Mercy is over in he's over in Sweden, so he'd have to travel over here first. Be a little bit more of a hike for him. Alonzo here saying thank you, appreciate the love. All right, guys. So I think that just about does it for us here. Again, Ian, thank you so much, brother. I appreciate you hanging out. Love talking with you. Make sure you guys are following him, Hood Rat Comics. You can see his name there.
Please sub us up too on Team Nerd Herds. We're trying to get to 500.
Yeah.
Once we get to 500, our goal is to start going live, and that's when we start doing giveaways. So please sub us up, man, because our giveaways are going to be dope. They're going to be fun. They're going to be dope. We're gonna do it some way, like to get the community something. So
hell yeah. I'm looking forward to all that. And guys, thanks everybody in the chat. Thank you all for hanging out. Really appreciate your time. If you guys are watching the replay right now, thank you so much for taking that time to watch the replay. Always appreciate the support that everybody's been given from the community. So, all right, guys, until then, have a great rest of your Saturday. Enjoy your weekend. And next week, I'll be back same time, same channel.